Good morning to all. This is Subhashri from SNS City Department of Computer Science. So we are going to see about three schema architecture. Proposed to support DBMS characteristics of program data independence and support of multiple views of the data. So this is the values of three schema architecture. So defines DBMS schema at three levels. One is internal schema and the next one is conceptual schema and the last is external schema. So internal schema describes physical storage structures and access the paths. Typically uses a physical data model. So conceptual schema in a sense, it's level to describe the structure and constraints for the whole database for a community of users. Uses a conceptual or an implementation data model. External schema in a sense to describe the various user views, usually uses the same data model as the conceptual level. So, three schema architecture mappings. Among schema levels that is needed to transform requests and data. Programs refer to an external schema and are mapped by the DBMS, that is Database Management System, for internal schema for execution and implementation. So next comes the data independence. So what is a data independence? So the data stored in the database should be free of anything, that is it should be secured, it should be protected, and data integrity should be there. That is a data independence. The valid user can manipulate and access the data as per his choice. So logical data independence in the sense the capacity to change the conceptual schema without having to change the external schemas and their application programs too. Physical data independence in the sense the capacity to change the internal schema without having to change the conceptual schema levels. So data independence which are continued at a lower level is changed only by the mappings between the schema levels, and the higher schema levels have to be changed in a database systems that fully supports data independence. The higher level schema themselves are unchanged, that is it cannot be modified. Hence application programs need not be changed since they refer to the external schema levels. So what is a schema level? Next comes the DBMS languages, data definition language, used by the database administrator and the database designers to specify the conceptual schema of a database. That is, data definition language will use only a table format, the structure of a table, that is rows and columns. It can be modified and accessed only by the database administrator and a database designer. In many DBMSs, the DDL is also used to define internal and external schema. Schema in the sense it is a structure of a table. It is a view. That's it. So in some DBMS, separate storage definition language, that is SDL, and view definition language, that is a VDL, are used to define internal and external schemas. So data manipulation language, which is a DBML, used to specify database retrievals and its updates. DBML commands such as data sublanguage can be embedded in a general purpose programming languages, that is a host language. So it combines both data sublanguage and a host language such as COBOL, C, or an assembly level language. Alternatively, standalone DBML commands can be applied directly through a query based system, that is a query language. DBMS languages, which includes high level or non-procedural language, for example SQL, or set oriented and specify what data is to be manipulated, what data is to be stored, what is to be accessed, also called as declarative languages, such in a high level language. For example, the low level language or procedural languages record each at a time. They specify how to retrieve the data and include constructs such as looping. Here they are coming to say the high level languages what data are to be retrieved and how to retrieve. This will be specified by the user. But in the low level language, in a procedural language, the user cannot specify how to retrieve the data. They only tell what data to be retrieved. Okay. Then its interface. Standalone query language interfaces. Programmer interfaces for embedding DBML in programming languages. Pre-compiler approach will be there. Procedural call approaches will be also there. So user-friendly interfaces, menu-based, popular for browsing on the web. Forms-based, designed for Navy users. Navy users and the native users who is a valid user of those database system can only access the DBMS from the point of view. So graphics based means point and click, drag and drop, etc. Natural language request in written English. Combinations of the above will be accessed through these interfaces. So speech as input and output. Web browser as an interface. So parametric interfaces. Example, bank tellers. We can say there is a teller occupation in the banks. They will tell what to do and how to do those parametric activities. So interfaces for the DBA will be creating an account, granting authorization, setting system parameters, changing the schemas or access path. frequently. This will be done by the bank tellers. Okay, they are the database administrator. So what are the system utilities here? To perform certain functions such as loading the data stored in files into a database includes data conversion tools, backing up the database periodically on the tape, reorganizing database file structures. The generation of report utilities will be follow up and have to be submitted to the database administrator. Performance of monitoring utilities. Other functions such as sorting, user monitoring, data compression will also be there. These are the utilities which have to be carried out by the database administrator to protect the integrity, redundancy and security of the database systems. So, thank you so much.